Hi, this is Kim Turner, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a combination chart in Excel. This is also called a combo chart. A combo chart has two series of data combined onto one chart. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is find our data that we want to put on the chart. I'm going to go to the price and shares sheet and select the data A4 to C69. Then I'm going to go to the Insert tab and click on Recommended Charts. This is a great place to go so that you can visualize what your data will look like on different types of charts. If I click on the All Charts tab, I can go down to the bottom and select Combo. Then select the Custom Combination icon. This will allow me to customize how the data is shown on the chart. So you could see in this custom combination, we have price and shares traded. This also means the number of shares traded. So the first series name is called price. And for us, price is going to be a line chart. So I'm going to click on the down arrow and select line. Then on my secondary axis, which is going to be an axis on the right-hand side, I'm going to show the number of shares traded. That type of chart is going to be a clustered column chart. So the column charts are up top, and simply hover over each one to find the cluster column chart. And go ahead and click on it. Now I'm going to click on OK, and the chart is going to go into the price and shares sheet. I want to move that chart over to our summary sheet, so I'll click on Move Chart in the Location group in the Chart Design tab, and I'm going to make it an object in the Summary sheet. So select Summary in the drop-down menu and then click OK. Now I notice it's kind of drifted down, and I'd like to put it right underneath the title that states Recent Performance. It's going to go in A31 through D43. So I can go to the handles in the corner of the chart until I get this diagonal arrow. Click and drag that handle until we get to the edge of D43. That'll do it. Now let's create a chart title. We never want the title to read chart title. We want to give it an actual title. So I'll go ahead and click on the chart title and then use my backspace key to delete that, and I'll put price and shares traded. I can click off of that and it will be saved. Now let's go to chart elements and we'll move the legend to the right hand side of the chart. So I'll click on that plus icon and go down to legend. You'll notice this arrow comes up when I hover over legend. The arrow's on the right hand side. Just click on that arrow and move it from the bottom to the right hand side. So let's also add axis titles. Axis titles are important because they tell the reader what the numbers mean on the vertical axis, and on this case, the vertical axis on both sides of the chart. So I'm going to click on Axis Titles, and I can click on the titles themselves and delete the information in the text box. Just hit the backspace key. So the vertical title on the left-hand side is going to be price, and the axis title on the right-hand side will be shares traded. There's a third axis title on the horizontal axis, so we want to make sure that that's labeled as well. Never leave it as axis title. In this case, it's going to be date. And just simply click off of it in the white area to save it. So you may want the shares traded to be rotated to the right so that it reads down. It's just more pleasing to the eye that way. So you can easily do that by going to the Home tab and then going to the Orientation icon in the Alignment group. You can rotate the text down very easily. Now let's set the scale of the secondary axis. The primary axis is always on the left-hand side because that's normally how you draw a chart. So the secondary axis is going to be on the right-hand side. If I double-click on any part of this chart, the navigation pane comes. So for example, if I double-click on the title, the Format Chart Title pops out on the right-hand side. If I click on the chart area, Format Chart Area appears. If I double-click on Plot Area, that appears. So this is a great feature in Excel for charts because you can select what you want to format and the options will be there for you on the right. In this case, I'm going to click on the secondary axis. So just click on the values of the axis on the right hand side and then go to Axis Options. You can hover over each icon to see which one it is. It's the one on the right, and then click the arrow to the left of each name so that your options appear. Now the bounds represent the minimum and maximum values on that axis. So you notice the minimum is 0. Well, the minimum is 0 down here at the bottom of the axis. The maximum shows 7.0 E7. Now what that means is 7.0 times 10 to the 7th power. So it basically means 7 with 7 zeros after it. So let's change that. The reason I would change it is because I want the lines to appear a little bit smaller on the chart. They go past the line chart, which represents the price, and I want those values in the clustered column chart to be smaller. So I'm going to put the maximum at 1.6 E08. Now when I hit enter, now the bounds changed, and you'll notice that 160 million appears as the maximum value. Okay, so now my clustered column chart is smaller and I'm able to read it just a little bit easier. Now I might want to make this easier to look at so that there's not so many zeros all over the place. And so one way to do that is to set the display units for the secondary axis. You'll notice down here display units is none, but if I change it to millions, now it will simply show 160 and millions will appear on the side of that axis. So the reader can see it's 160 million. It just makes it easier to read. So that concludes the video of showing you how to create a combo chart, which is a chart that has two sets of data or two series of data placed on one chart. Now it's your turn to try.